Before the video starts, I'm assuming you, the viewer, have at least some experience and basic knowledge of the game, or if you watched my beginner's maimai guide. If not, then here's an extremely quick recap. Okay, now that's everything covered, we can start with the video. I'll make a disclaimer first. This video script was made during Buddies, and now with the new update Buddies Plus, there's been some changes. So, when something outdated is mentioned, we have Derakuma come out and correct me. So, you had your first maimai session. What do you do now? Well, with your new IME card, you can register it on the maimai.net website, so you can track your scores and stats. You're defaulted to the home page, where you can see your name, icon, title, rating, Dan rank, Otomodachi class, stars, and tour leader. We'll go through some of these later, but first, I'll show you another tool you can use along with maimai.net. It's called Maimai Bookmarklets. You can find a link in the description, but to use it, you drag the link onto the website to the bookmark bar of your browser, and to use it, you click the link when you're on the website, and it will execute depending on what page you're on. For mobile, it's a bit different. Firstly, you click the link on the website, which gives you some code, then you bookmark the page, which would show up as a pop-up. Click on it to edit it, and paste the code to the URL spot, and then change the name to something simple like MMBL for example, so it's easier to access. Now, when you're on maimai.net, type the bookmark link in the search bar and it will execute. So with MMBL set up, let's go through the website. In the Records tab, you can see all your recent 50 scores along with detailed stats about each of them. You have simple stuff like the song details, score, position, and rating. DX score follows under score, which is another scoring method. It judges on points based on note judgment. Getting a good or a miss gives you 0 points, great 1 point, perfect 2 points, and critical perfect 3 points. So, instead of worrying about getting critical perfect on breaks, you have to get it for all the notes. So it shows the amount of points you got to the total amount of points you can get, along with stars which show you the percentage of the max DX score. A 1-star DX score is 85%, and it maxes out at 5 stars, which is at 97%, along with an unofficial 6-star score the community made with 99%. It's a very precise and strict system, and I recommend not worrying about DX score until you're like 16k, since you don't really get anything out of it. Under DX score, we have full combo and sync, which have different variants depending how you play. So you have a full combo, basically don't miss any of the notes. And then we have the guy she tells you not to worry about, full combo plus. Same thing, but only perfect or great notes hit. Now progressing to all perfect, where you hit every note perfectly, and then all perfect plus, where along with hitting all notes perfectly, you have to hit all the breaks with critical perfect. Then you have the syncs, starting off with sync play, which was introduced in the Buddies update. Requirements? Just play with someone, you fucking loner. Moving up to Full Sync Plus, where you and your partner FC a chart together. Although if you're playing on different difficulties, the lower diff gets Full Sync Plus, and the higher one only gets Full Sync. Full Sync DX is achieved when both players get FC Plus, and Full Sync DX Plus is for players that get AP or AP Plus together. Although the difficulty rule still applies, lower diff gets FDX or FDX Plus, and higher diff will only get Full Sync. Under all of that, you'll have score results that you would see at the end of the chart. Fast and late ratios, score judgment, max combo, and max sync. I don't know what this means. If you use MMBL, you can use it to show your score in more detail. Now you can see the amount of percentage you lose from each note type, allowing you to see where specifically you mess up and how to fix it for next time. On the topic of score, I'm going to be more detailed about how the scoring system works, since I didn't want to overcomplicate things from my old video. I said that, but how the score works is that you start at 101. I know, it doesn't make sense, and every fuck up makes the percent go down until the song finishes. But that's a simplification of the system. Scoring is broken down into two parts, 100%, which is the base score, and then the 1%, which is the break score. Let's start with the break score. For context, breaks have 6 different judgments because there are 2 different perfect judgments, high perfect and low perfect. So even though you hit a perfect on a break, it's possible that you'll lose more because of this hidden mechanic. Hitting all the breaks with critical perfect will give you 1%. Base score is on points, so hitting every note with perfect will add to 100%. The value of each note is different. Hold notes are worth double of a tap note, slides are worth triple, and then breaks, which are 5 times the amount. This is why one miss can lead to a different score loss. I also lied about breaks. There's actually 3 different judgments when hitting a grate: high grate, mid grate, and low grade. But they don't matter too much. Just don't hit a great note, dumbass. So you just avoid all of that. So in total, there are actually 8 different break judgments. Oh my god, what a shitty mechanic. Along with game records, you have song score, where you can browse all the charts in the game, along with your scores. There's also a panel where it tracks your progress on the selected folder. If you clear the entire folder with an S rank or higher, you get a lamp, which shows in game. It's basically a cool PNG, and the color change on the folder is pretty cool, I guess. You pretty much don't get anything from it. You can get another lamp with FC or higher, combining with the ranking lamp, and you get a cute Kuma in the middle of the folder. It also does nothing. Man, what's even the point of getting these? Using MMBL on this page allows you to sort them for convenience. You can see what charts you have left to complete your goals. And then we have
段位認定
or Dan for short, where they display your best scores from the Dojo game mode. To explain, Dojo is an alternative game mode where you have to play 4 set charts with a certain amount of life, which you can lose by hitting greats or below, as well as gaining life back after every cleared chart. The goal is to play through all the 4 charts without losing all of your life, and at the end, you get a badge labeled with the Dan you clear. There are 3 different variants of Dans you can play. There's Dan, which goes from 1 to 10. These Dans provide you with a lot of life, which means that you can usually get an S rank for each chart to pass. Once you clear 10th Dan, you unlock Shin Dan, a harder variant of Dan where you only get 50 life for each course, which requires you to be much more precise. You pretty much need triple S plus for each chart. When you clear Shin Dan, you get a shinier badge that will override your 10th Dan badge. Once you clear 10th Shin Dan, you unlock Shin Kaiden, and then clearing Shin Kaiden will unlock Ura Kaiden, which is an incredibly hard variant of Shindan. You have to play 4 of the hardest charts in the game with only 10 life, and you insta-fail if you miss. That basically means you have to average a near perfect score along with an FC for all the charts to clear this Dan. And then the last variant, Random Dan. Pretty self-explanatory. The game randomly selects charts for you to play based on the difficulty you select. But be aware that even if it says level 14, doesn't mean every chart will be a level 14, or that it won't select the same charts over again. The charts found in each Dan course can be found on Zetaraku, which is linked in the description. Do note that each major update will change up the charts found in each Dan, as well as resetting your Dan badge. The play data is pretty self-explanatory. It shows how many charts you cleared based on rank, stars, FC, and sync, along with your play count. Using MMBL on this page will give you 2 links. Clicking on Analyze Rating will take you to a new window showcasing all of your top plays. Now, this gives us a perfect opportunity to talk about how the rating system works. Maimai rating is divided into different color groups. They don't have official names, but you can make anything up. The highest color is rainbow at 15k, but the rating surpasses this, going all the way up to 16k. The way rating is calculated is the game takes the top 15 players from the current update as well as the top 35 players from the older updates and then adds them together. Rating is determined by the level of the chart along with the rank you achieve, although the levels are actually in decimal points, which are called chart constants. The game doesn't show them, I don't know why, but even though you see 2 level 13s, they could be different. So it can be hard judging a chart's difficulty without knowing their constant. Another thing is that if a constant has a 0.6 or higher, then it'll show as a plus in-game. And now with that knowledge, here's a website showcasing the amount of rating you get from a chart. It's a good reference to determine what charts you need to play to reach a certain milestone. Each color has an average rating you need per chart to get it, so for example, reaching 15k requires an average of 300 rating, so you can find the minimum levels you need to play to achieve this milestone. Additionally, MMBL show charts that you can improve upon to get rating. Another resource you can use to find charts to farm rating are these difficulty tier lists, which is made every major update by hand. These tier lists are a more accurate way to determine a chart's difficulty instead of the actual constants, because every maimai player knows that Zega's balancing team is pretty cooked. CyberSparks is listed as a 13.7, which is on the easier side of the 13 plus folder, but then you play it and you realize that this shit is harder than some of the 14s. The tier list listing it very high feels more accurate, but do note that this is based on opinions. Even I don't agree with some of these, and you have to be aware of playstyles. If you're good with taps, then a highly ranked chart like Southern Cross could be easy for you, but something like Last Samurai, which is the opposite of this, would be impossible, even though it's near the bottom of the list. Additionally, these charts are ranked by difficulty to SSS+. It's still a decent reference to find easy charts to S rank, but an example that I personally find is that My First Phone is an easy chart to S rank, but I agree with it being so high up in the tier list because you have to be precise with the sliders, which makes it easy to lose a lot of accuracy on. You can use My Chart to generate a visualization of all your top players, as well as the Mimi XD Discord bot for this. They place link to a tracker for specific collection items you can achieve for filling out certain requirements. I'll let you know that this is endgame stuff top players do since there's nothing else to do in the game, so it's not really important for 99% of the players, but I'll explain briefly. You pick the game version, which shows a table of all the charts in the version from basic to master. First line is chart to FC, then it goes from SSS, AP, and then FDX. Clearing one of the lines and you'll get the corresponding frame or plate. The Friends tab allows you to view all of your friends you made here, although there's limitations. You can only have 100 friends, and out of them, you can only add 20 friends in your favorites. With favorite friends, you can compare your scores together as well as viewing scores or stats on friend leaderboards. Out of the 20 favorite friends, you can add 3 of them to your rivals list, which means their scores will show up in-game. To add a friend, you add them via friend code or if they match up with you recently. At the end of every game, the prompt to save a picture is shown and they're all saved here in the Photos tab. Although it only saves the last 10 pictures, so make sure you back them up. To save them, you can use MMBL to generate a link to download the image. The Photos tab is now found in Play Data, and now they show the arcade you play at and a download link. I still recommend using MMBL to download, since the file name is formatted instead of being some random characters, makes it way easier to organize. Along with being able to change in-game, you can also change your settings here, although most of these are personal preferences. I'm going to go through what I recommend. Firstly, settings that reduce clutter and increase visibility. So change the movie brightness to dark so you don't get blinded by the background, reaction effect to off, sync/verse to off, and line design to something that is clean. So either simple or sensor, which shows all the sensor points. For context, the game has a total of 34 detection areas with their own name. To be honest, you don't need to know all of them. The important ones are A1 to A8, which are the names of each button. You can remove the display at the center, but I prefer to keep it on so you can see your mistakes. I use achievement -2, but I recommend using any of the displays that goes down when you mess up. For judgments, use type 3B, 3C, or 3D, since they show fast and late for everything except crit perfect. Even if you're not aiming for DX score, I still recommend them because for something like spins for example, even if you're hitting perfect, you're still very close to getting a great, so you can either speed up or slow down to avoid that risk. Position of judgment tap, it doesn't matter too much if you're playing on buttons, but on touch, go all the way in so your hand doesn't block the judgment display when you hit a note. And put slide rotation to on, since the speed of the slides is determined by how fast the star is spinning. Also, make sure you change the break sounds to the cat. There's a new setting called friend registration skip setting. For the prompt that shows up to befriend someone at the start of the game, I recommend just skipping that. It's so awkward rejecting someone right in front of them. The events tab relates to the screen when you start the game. These are areas where you have to travel through by kilometers to unlock collection items as well with the charts. Each area is related towards Maimai's original stories and their characters, but we will discuss that another time. As well with event areas which are limited time collaborations. I recommend going through these ones first if you care about playing for unlocks. You can find a list of areas along with the rewards and kilometers it will take to travel on the Maimai Chinese Wikipedia. You travel with 5 tour members and they have a status, good or bad, depending if the member is related towards the area. Your party member is immune to this, and another thing is that if your party leader isn't from an event area, it shows up on the end photo. You can awaken tour members by getting them to different levels. Leveling them up to level 9 gives you their icon, 99 which gives you a title, and then the level caps at level 9999. You get a star every time they awaken, and it also increases your travel distance by 100 meters per star. Honestly, this stuff is boring. Just go auto select and then you have the most optimized team for the area. Other ways to increase the distance traveled is to play songs relating towards the area you can find in the area bonus folder, play bonuses like FC or Sync Play, and tickets. You can unlock 1.5 area boost tickets by stamps or from completing a dan, along with 2 times, 3 times, and 5 times tickets where you have to pay money for. You can find collection items here and you can change them up, as well with adjusting your tour members and partner, which is the character that shows up in the score screen. These characters are earned by the daily stamps. You can find a list of collection items and how to get them on the Maimai Chinese wiki. So Google Translate is gonna be your best friend here. Also, a cool thing with titles is that if you get an AP on a DX chart on all the difficulties, then you get a golden title with the song name. We have a new tab introduced with Buddies Plus, the shop. It's pretty limited so far since it's new, but here you can purchase a variety of things such as tickets, limited collection items, and presents, which is used to befriend your partners. The currency used is maimai, which is earned by doing weekly challenges that get renewed every Monday at 7 AM Japanese Standard Time. And last but not least is the rankings tab. It's pretty self-explanatory. You can view global rankings from your server along with favorite friends in different categories. They range from individual charts to total scores from each difficulty to your class, which is from a system called Otomodachi, where you can compete against players around the world. You get a choice of songs to pick, and each of them have a score set by someone else on your server that you need to beat, which is shown. You start off in B5 rank, and each win will give you 5 class points, or CP for short. Man, they really got unlucky with that acronym. Reaching 10 CP will promote you to B4, and it continues all the way till you get promoted to a new class from B1 to A5. Now, at the A class, you verse harder opponents, get less CP for each win, lose CP when you lose, and before every promotion, you have to go against a boss battle. These requirements get harder and harder for every class promotion. You can find details about each boss in the link below. The class of the opponent is important as well, because depending if they're higher or lower, the CP given changes if you win or lose. It's only into SSS1, the second highest class, where the boss is a brand new chart you can unlock by beating it and reaching Legend class. Although it's pretty hard to unlock initially, but throughout the update, it gets easier and more accessible for players to unlock the chart. By the end of the update, it becomes accessible for everyone. Also, at the beginning of each update, you go down by 1 class from the start. Well, that's the advanced maimai guide. It's still a pretty broad guide, which can be useful for anyone getting into the game to some experienced players. I did try to fit all the important things, but there's still a lot more specific things you can learn relating to certain charts. Like, bro, what the fuck is this? I still don't think I'm good enough to talk about some of these things. Even though I'm 15.3k, which is rainbow rating, it's still relatively low compared to the skill needed to reach the end game. The gap from getting from 15k to 16k is far greater than getting to 15k as a new player. There's still plenty of goals to achieve, such as APing all 14 pluses, or clearing every single chart in the game, for example, which are for those types of endgame players. Maybe I'll make a video talking about this type of stuff in the future, but for now, I hope this video finds a good use for you guys.